Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, Coffee Tea Paper. My name's Louise and yes, I have another Ferris Wheel Press review for you. However, these items were not sent to me. I purchased these items myself, and the reason I wanted to do that, well, one of the reasons was that I wanted to purchase something from the Ferris Wheel Press Australian Distribution Centre so that I could see for myself just how much quicker it is than the packages that Ferris Wheel Press send me as part of the Creative Ambassador program, which come from Canada. They can take up to 3 to 4 weeks at times, dependent. Sometimes they're really quick and take 2 weeks, but I was very interested to see how long it would take from the Australian distribution centre. Interestingly, I got an email saying that they're going to start sending our packages to the ambassadors locally as well. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get my ink reviews out in a more timely fashion, shall we say. Sometimes it feels like a bit of a rush because I'd like you guys to be able to make an informed decision before you decide whether to purchase these inks. I have to say I was very impressed because the shipping time was very quick. It only took a week, including weekends, so that's a big difference. It came with the local company Couriers Please. I was given very up-to-date tracking and shipment updates, which was very pleasing. So yes, I can report that the shipping and delivery was very, very quick. Now, the other thing that I thought was interesting was because it's obviously being packed locally, not over in Canada, but the inks were actually better packaged than the inks I get regularly on a monthly basis. So I also found that very, very pleasing, because if you're spending your hard-earned money on it, you don't want your inks to arrive all over the inside of a box. You want them to be in the bottle with the beautiful boxes intact and, no dented corners or anything like that. I was very pleased. I missed out on one of these ink holders, these ink bottle stands from Ferris Wheel Press. When they offered it last year, I wanted to wait a while and see how I felt about the inks themselves. And now that I have been with Ferris Wheel Press for 12 months, and I do really like their products. I like the graphic design on the boxes. I like the thought that's put into the products, the seasonal releases. I like the fun interactions they do on social media with playing I Spy games with the boxes. I like the little clues they give in the Fairy Tales inks, which are the little squat round bottles. I find that at the end of the day, it's a ink company, but they really make you feel involved, and there's a whole story behind each ink. So I decided that I did want to purchase one of these so I can have my ink of the month on display on my desk in this little holder. The other thing is I probably prefer it a bit more because it's a sort of a matte silver finish, not a shiny gold finish, which was the finish on the previous iteration of these. So this is a little bit more to my personal taste as well. Now, the other thing to note is I purchased these two items. However, I got this ink for free because they were having a special deal on that everyone could participate in. They had all different deals depending on what day it was. It's sort of, I'm not sure if they're still running, but they certainly have been putting out lots of interesting deals, like a free aluminium fountain pen, free carousel pens, free bottles of ink, all sorts of really good deals at the moment. If those deals are on, you can't use the code that I normally say, the CTP, it won't work during that time. But if you have missed out on the deals and you still want to purchase some ink, then you can use that code to receive 10% off. So the ink that I decided that I wanted to purchase is this Goose Poupon, or I think it's goose feather, and it looks to me to be a really good olivey green, yellowy green, almost puce color, which I don't have in my collection and I think I would like. So I bit the bullet and purchased this one. The ink that I got for free is one of these professional calligraphy ink that they started bringing out this year, and I got the Time Teal. So I thought that would be a bit of fun as well. Of course, this is not to be used, this calligraphy ink, in fountain pens. This is only to be used in dip pens because it is paint based. So please, please remember that. So I'm going to try this one first and yeah, see how we go. I'm just stamping with my hand carved stamp that I made for myself and the Shachihata ink in silver grey. Yeah, it's just a standard decorated bottle. There's no special designs on it. They're always pretty, but nothing particularly amazing about this one. And you see the ink goes in the stand like so. And I guess design points to note here is that there are little velvet pads in there to support your bottle, and they've actually angled like the edge of the bottle. And there are also little velvet pads on the feet so it doesn't scratch up your desk either. So they're very nice touches, I have to say. Now this isn't a shimmer ink or anything, so I don't have to do too much with it. Paintbrush test first. I always have to turn my book on its side to write. Today, for something different, I'm going to use my Kakamori dip pen. I have been shying away from using this because I do find it a little tricky, unlike this one with the standard calligraphy G-nib, but let's just give it a go. If you don't use it, you're not going to improve, isn't it? Okay, I just popped the lid on just in case. It's a nice color match for the label here. Yeah, it's to me it's a true olive green, and I have been after a nice olive green for quite some time. This really meets the brief, I think. I might just have a quick comparison with Australis tea. I've got it in here. Oh, there's Aurora and Klingner Alt Gold Grün, which I had a sample of. So you can see it's definitely more yellowy olivey than greeny olivey. Okay, so here is the Robert Oster signature ink in Australis tea, which I have described as a yellowy green. And yeah, I stand by that. It's still more of a yellowy green than what I would refer to as an olive green. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. This is a nice addition to my collection. I'm just going to give a rinse to my brush and we'll come back and have a look at this Tea Time Teal. I have pre-stamped my page there, so let's get out this Time Teal ink and have a look at that. Eek, eek, eek. Now with these calligraphy inks, you're meant to just very carefully try to amalgamate the shimmer in with the ink, not shake it vigorously. I always get a little bit impatient and want to give it a good old shake. But then you get air bubbles, which causes another problem, I guess. I also tend to make a mess because they, under the lid, have a rubber seal, which I've had more than one disaster with that. It's not a fault of the design or anything like that. I'm just a little clumsy, and yeah, that's just how it goes. I always think these calligraphy ink bottles look like old-fashioned crystal salt and pepper shakers, which I think adds to my desire to give them a good old shake. Okay, let's see if I can get this off without making too much of a mess. Yep, so they always have this rubber stopper which has the branding on the top, Fall in Love with writing again. Oh, so far so good. Okay, I'm going to, just for the purposes of further experimentation, oh, I have to do the swatch bit first. I'm going to use my offset elbow offset, elbow bent nib dip pen. These have wider necks, these bottles, so it makes it a bit easier as well to get in there with this offset. So the other thing to note is that these calligraphy inks take a lot longer to dry because they are an acrylic based paint type ink. It also means that you get a bit more of a raised texture with them sometimes on the paper, which is quite an interesting effect. And I'm just going to, where I was wiping it on the edge of the bottle, I'm just going to wipe that away, so as I put the rubber stopper on, hopefully that might stop me from having any accidents. Wow, look at that. Oh, I got some of the Goose Poupon on me. But yeah, none of the calligraphy ink. So winning with that today. So we'll let this dry and then we'll come back and I'll do some slow panning close-ups of both these inks once they're dry. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you can, I guess, rest easy in the knowledge that I have tried out the Australian Distribution Centre with my own funds, my own order. I had it delivered to my house. I normally get them delivered to my PO box, and the service was excellent. So I feel very happy sharing that with you guys. Okay, until next time, I shall leave you with some inks. Bye!